Hi everyone, and welcome to part 3 of Understanding the Great Mutation. I'm Alison and I'm an astrologer, and I also specialize in the gene keys, and Goddess Asteroids and world astrology. And with me I have Katreni who is a Gene Keys ambassador from Russia and also a real genius at understanding human design. So we're weaving together a lot of threads here, and our intention is to do that in a really simple way. We're receiving sort of downloads of incredibly complex information, and our desire is to present that to you, whether you're new to human design, astrology, or whether you have been doing it for years. We hope that you will get something out of this. And really, it's all about taking practical steps to prepare us for this big transition that's going to happen in 2027. So this is part 3 of our journey, and part 1 and 2 were really excellent. So if you've come in at part 3, watch this one and then go back. And our first one was actually about Mother Siberia and the seeding of a very beautiful tradition of shamanism across the world. So I'm sure that's going to weave back in actually at some point, because it's still very present. So I'm going to hand you over to Katreni, and I'm going to come in with questions and comments along the way. So welcome, Katreni, and the mic is yours.
Hi everyone who's watching this, and thank you, Alison, for our dance and weaving here. Yeah, well, would we start from where we finished and it last time, or you would say about Pluto and asteroids? How will we go?
I think if you start from where we were last time, because the big planets like Saturn are certainly involved, and we have lots that we want to say about Pluto and Eris, but we're going to see where this takes us today, and we might end up doing that as a separate self-contained thing. But I mean, I'm open to just see where the transmission takes us. Really, it feels like it, there's a pressure for us to give this message out, and it's almost like so much bigger than even we could understand. So I think we can just let it flow and see what happens.
Okay, yeah. It's better to give it space and see what comes in our interaction. Yeah. Maybe I will share then screen and just go through my slides. Okay. Oops. Sorry for that. Have to open it again. But while I'm doing that, I will talk. Last time we were going through the wheel, and we were particularly interested in the gates, which were locks, which were, now I will share. Which were the crosses, the 2 crosses of the Sphinx and the cross of the vessel of love, which kind of give us a really nice start and divide the wheel on solstices, equinoxes, and also in between the locks that gives us direction, and they're very important in regards global cycles and in regards understanding the wheel and kind of a point where we can start to unfold this, because we need visuals, we need to stimulate ourselves with visuals, and like, so it's really kind of something we can back to because it's visually clear what's going on the wheel. And the wheel is a nice mandala because in astrology we have a wheel, in human design we have a wheel, with all the I Ching, and also as we see astrological wheel. So we kind of, it's a nice mandala to get into that. And yeah, please watch the last videos we've made together because they kind of give the ground where we're gonna launch today from. And today actually I want to speak about quarters. We have 4 quarters, 4 seasons of the year. They kind of fit together. We have spring and initiation. We have summer, where we are now in civilization. We are in the end of summer, in the end of this quarter, in the 31st Jinki gate, codon, hexagram. This is all the same words for one number, 31st. This is where the sun is. And it's very interesting point because we have a programming partner on the other end, which is the 41st, 31st, 41st. This is a programming partner. And this is where in human design we have a new year. It's around 20th January. So we have the starting of the year because 41st is a starting codon, methionine, and it kind of starts every sentence in our genetic code. So every genetic sentence starts with 41st. It's kind of a starter codon. It's the only one starter codon, and it's here. And it's kind of Ra Uruhu said that, okay, this is the starting of the year. And just yesterday, I've came across a sister system, which is the Mayan calendar of the law of time. And it actually had a new year now in the 31st. So I find it very interesting that, and I feel that this is kind of a start where for human design, that would be the end, the earth. This is where the sun, when it's in January, grounds itself. Now we kind of, on the Mayan calendar, we just have the starting of the year, and it will launch us into something into a new cycle as well. But this, just for you to know, I find it amazing. I find amazing how these two systems came together in this. And yeah, just wanted to put into this meeting that we are here, and it's also a new year, and I feel there is something that was brewing that stopped, and that something's going to launch. Will I continue, Alison, or would you like to put something here?
Oh, I might have to say something. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've followed the Mayan calendar for quite a lot of years, but then I got more into gene keys and following that cycle of where the sun's going. So it's interesting. I'd never made that connection between those two either. So that's like, oh wow, that's amazing. And just for anyone who doesn't know, the Galactic New Year, which was yesterday actually, is yellow electric seed. So our last podcast, we were talking quite a lot about the seeding of the Goddess Asteroids, you know, what they're seeding into human consciousness. So it's quite exciting for me that this is a seed year, because there's been so much kind of destruction. You can see the old order crumbling in so many ways, and these beautiful seeds. And I just got a vision there of the dandelion seeds flying out into nature, and they're so good at finding a place to germinate every single little seed. So yeah, I'll just say that for now. Exciting stuff.
Indeed. Also, the last time the yellow electric seed, the new year, was in 1969. So that was the forking of the Vietnam War and the love, like the children of flower children, and all the summer of love, and like the expansion and love is in the air and flowering of human heart. And this is what I feel like, this forking of Aquarius, kind of forking, it starts now, like we are going into this heart expansion and the collective seeding, collective heart seeding, collective seeds of love, which we feel like, I feel like it's really grounded, this seed, and it will start to germinate. And also the other side, which I guess we will mention when we talk about Pluto and the 60 gates, this kind of limitation in the war and like the sphincter of the system. And yeah, so it's nice. It's a nice contemplation of this fork, very pretty much Aquarius, like flowing or going into technocracy. So kind of weird, weird forking. And this came up also because 41st will be interesting also in regards of Pluto and what's coming in this year. So this is a nice place that we're kind of seeding it now as a ground to explore further. These are important keys: 41, 31, the beginning, the end, and the end is the beginning. So yeah, I guess I will go in describing the quarters. Like the next one is the duality quarter, and which is autumn, and mutation, which is winter. And they also connect, they represent these binaries. Yin yin, where we are now, summer sitting, yan yan, the creative, the beauty of the first key that opens this quarter, and this yang force of transformation. And of course, this mirrors of yin yang and yang yin of this quarter. So it's kind of beautiful. Still, we can see these geometries of the keys. So I will go and talk about each quarter, and also will show that what this quarter is specific and how it kind of highlights certain keys in here in the body graph. So yeah, let me check. I want to start actually from the Yan quarter. Not obvious, but I somehow like to start with the first gene key, like the last time I did. And also this is the quarter of transformation and death. This is the quarter of mutation. It starts from 1st to the 19th, kind of the start something, the creative, and then close up with a sacrifice, like when we burn the doll of the winter and kind of start the spring, and the sacrifice of the lower nature, which we contemplated during the winter time. So this is a quarter with the theme of when you are born. Okay, that's what's important, because I will talk about purpose of each quarter. So, and this is your kind of purpose, the koan of your purpose, if you were born with the sun in one of the keys in each quarter. For example, I was born 13th of April, which happens to be 42 gene key, and it's a spring. 13 April is spring, so I have my sun in the 42nd gate or gene key. And if you were born somewhere here, that would be your purpose. So listen attentively to each quarter. That can give you some insights. So quarter of mutation, purpose fulfilled through transformation. So if you were incarnated into this quarter, your purpose is fulfilled through transformation. And the foundation gate is the self, the creative, as I've said many times, yan yan. And when we activate all the gates in this quarter, we have only one definition in the body graph, which is the generator with a channel of exploration, which is 34 and 10, which happen to be the winter solstice. So in the body graph, this channel, let me choose the instrument to show you. So this is the pure power of the 34, which is important because it's going to be our cross of the sleeping sphinx thematics, and this is where we started with Alison. We started with the 34. So here it comes again. So we have, if we look at this quarter and all the different gates, they're all spread in a certain way in the centers within our body graph. So we have the only definition, and it kind of dictates what this quarter is about. So it's 3410, and it's about the channel of exploration, this pure power connected to the identity. And this is the generator that responds to a certain behavior. It gets empowered by its own unique behavior. Also, we have this creative, this yang kind of thematic underneath, and exploration of the self. And it's also about kind of surviving or not through your behavior. If your behavior is correct, you survive. If not, then it's a transformation and death that you experience. So it's a world where anything can happen. It's about the process of living, but it's also about the process of transformation and acceptance of death. So people born here, it's very kind of alchemical. It's this yin-yang force that kind of transforms you. Like it's a pure power, pure behavior of the self in the world that meets something, explores the world, survives, or goes through transformation, death, and acceptance of death. This is all about accepting one's own mortality, and even more preparing for the incarnation, like what you explore, how you explore, so you get prepared into your next incarnation, which happens to be the quarter of initiation, the spring. So we die here, we get our last sacrifice, and we are kind of plunged out into this quarter, which is the 13th, which starts with a witness returns. And this quarter is a yang-yin quarter, and we have the purpose fulfilled through mind. So everyone who is born here, you fulfill your purpose through the mind that witness what it is living within the form. And it sets the foundation with the 13th gate of the listener, or it's also called the fellowship of man. It's a yang spirit from the last quarter. You remember, it's a spirit that pushing upward into the yin form. So it's the balance of yang spirit into the yin form. So we get incarnate into the form, and our mind in this very spring kind of way starts to explore itself and starts to learn and to witness what's going on here, and kind of get to know oneself living again and again in the form. So it's kind of a mind exploring itself within the form. And also, if we put all the gates in the body graph, there will going to be only one definition that is formed. And interestingly enough, it is the 25, which is the spring equinox, with the 51, the gate of shock. So it's this channel. It's the ego connected to the G center, to the direction in love. So it's called the channel of initiation, and it's connecting 25, this universal love, and also the awakening, the Jinki, the gate of shock. And it's very Aries, like 51 and 25 is both Aries. So it's kind of full Aryan force that initiates itself. And though it's a yang yin spirit, it's very yang kind of, it's a yang force. It's the one that forms actually these two channels in the body graph. They form so-called centering circuit, which is all about self-centering, which is all about empowering oneself, self-centering, initiating one's own direction, love of the self, 10 gates, and universal love. So it's kind of it's a circuitry within the circuitry. This is very important. It's kind of also, this is a gallbladder and the liver, and it's an initiation. Being born is an initiation. Like, it's a shock for the mind to appear in the form, and for the spirit as well. Like, kind of, oh, what's happening? Would you like to say something, Alison, here?
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking as you talk about both these circuitries, you know, this like strong survival imperative, you know, will we survive or not? And then this very Aries energy in the 25 channel there. It just feels like, you know, I think I've just really woken up in the last month to the enormity of the change that we're in, and trying to imagine a world without the cross of planning there, you know, and all the stuff, you know, and you know, it's even just like, I take my mom shopping, and my way of shopping is kind of very simple in the market. I buy my vegetables, and you know, all the people are there in one market. But in the supermarket, it's so complex. There's so much stuff, you know, and but you think at the same time, wow, if all this crumbles, which it kind of inevitably will, and we start to see that. I mean, even in Britain now, supermarket shelves are empty. I've never known that in my whole life here, and so you start to see this picture, and you think, actually, these energies are going to be so much more important, like to be able to navigate from within yourself rather than kind of being told what to do. So the sense of self-authority seems absolutely key energy for me. Like, what we need to be developing in ourselves right now is that inner sense of authority and trusting our own direction. Not taking the cues from the planning thing that's all gonna go. You know, so yeah. I don't know what you think about that, Katreni, if you're getting a sense of that stronger at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and I was wondering, because I've had a new sense of 2027 arriving in my body, and it's more like, it's feeling like being naked but not realizing there are no clothes, like it's chilly. So I guess we're gonna experience this, finding out the beauty of the naked body, metaphorically, and like what it is to be like naked in the world without like protection. And this is very much Pluto Capricorn, like shifting the thing about like finding ourselves in a fresh landscape where we have to redefine, and structures that brought security to our ego being redefined, and how we flow with that. I will definitely talk about it when we talk about definitions that are formed post 2027 and the crosses. But I want like to just give more explicit thing of the wheel, and to also entertain those who like want to kind of connect to the wheel, to realizing what kind of quarter they belong to. So yeah, this I will definitely unfold. This is my next slide actually. And yeah, so the next one, this is an interesting program, an interesting quarter of civilization. This is pure yin, and it starts with the second gate, as you remember. So it's kind of pure yin hexagram, and it starts the quarter. So it gives this is where the flow of the yin yang, this is where the black drop kind of starts within the wheel. So it's kind of pure yin force. And this quarter is about purpose fulfilled through form. And this is interesting to understand why it's like that. And it's also through manifestation. So it's a pure manifesting force, but it's yin. So it's not a yang that manifests, it's a yin. And it's about direction of the self, because second gene key, second gate is in the G center here. This is where the driver sits. This is where magnetic monopole. This is pure yin, pure form principle, and surrender to the form as an object moving in space, kind of surrendering that we are this form that moves in space like any other objects, like the planets, stars, and so on, with enormous speed. And we have to surrender to our form to actually connect to our direction and to actually connect to our manifesting capacity, because it's the body that does things. It's not the mind. Mind is a witness, but the body is what creates the civilization, and it's yin, and it's kind of feminine, and it's about being receptive. And when we activate any, like all the keys here, we have an enormous amount of throat gates, and we have no definition. So what we have 62, we have 56 here, we have 33 here, we have 8, we have 31, we have, like, I will go through here. So 33 is a throat gate, it's a stop codon. It's in a genetics, it's called a terminator codon. It's a full stop. It's a dot in the end of each sentence. We have 56, which is also a stop codon, but it's more like an exclamation mark. It's kind of about, yeah, I will not go into here, but it's a throat gate. So as well as 62 and the 31, like now, especially we've been through the 4 weeks. We have one more week with 33, which was all about correct manifestation, the timing of speaking and doing, about also the laws of Muhat, the goddess Muhat that creates a civilization and creates its laws. And also we have this root gate that kind of mirrors the throat gates, but we have also 16, 45, 12, 35, 8, 23, and 20. So we have almost all gates defined, but we have no definition. So all of this Dube civilization, yin-yin force, is this potential of a gearbox to kind of accept all the streams from other centers and manifest, but it's receptive. So it's gates, which means this is our receptors. They're waiting. They need to be receptive, and they wait to manifest the correct thing, ideally. If not, they're very strict, though it's all, as you see, kind of female goddesses, Maya, Lakshmi, Parvati, Muat, this all kind of a womanhood, but in a program sense of kind of this programming thing, there could be very restrictive, like the Muat says, okay, full stop, you're not going from the wheel of Maya, you're gonna continue sing all the same old songs of the 56, all the same homogenized stories of the 56, all the same details, bureaucracy, hierarchies and structures, and it's going to be a full stop. Your heart going to be wait. Muhat is an Egyptian goddess, so she will wait your heart, whether it's light. It's a morality, like it's a view of the morality, whether you've been a good citizen, whether you've been a good civilization builder, whether you fit into the system or not, or Maya, who is consists of all the individual gates, but in the programming sense, there is no individual. There is a full kind of losing individuality under the pressure of the program and just be a nice wife, Parvati, or like Lakshmi. So it's kind of very thin line whether you follow the program as it is, and it's within us. We cannot get rid of civilization. If there are not civilization, as you said, Alison, it's chaos, it's a pure chaos. So we need it, and it's part of us, and we are it. But we have to leave it in the mind and watch the mind, as the quarter of initiation says. If we act through the mind, we get the program, because program is the mind. And if we initiate and if we start to manifest what our mind says, which is same as program, then it's this world of which we witness. It's a homogenized, very full of fear, because mind is fear, world, restrictive, and so on and so forth. All the horrors where you have like facts which are not truths, and you can get into the prison because of facts, even that's true or not. The program doesn't care. You get into your prison because it's like it's a line in a paper, and that's it. So it's kind of this stuff. And if we follow in human design of strategy and authority, and we surrender to the body, then we realize that the program, that the mind is a witness, that here to witness the form, and then we follow the form principle, and it dictates as our inner authority what needs to be built, how, and it's connecting to our individuality, it's connecting to the high frequencies of this key, so to say, like we're retreating, we think before we speak, and so on. We are not stressed, we surrender, we are not searching for anything. We've already found our form, we already found our receptivity, we already found ourselves. So yeah, we have to see that. We have to see this distinction. Mind is a program, and it's going to be a horror manifested, or it's a body. It's a unique way of going through the program without resistance and not get hurt by that. So we are here now, and we experience how we deal with the stress. We experience we're going into the revelation, the retreat, the full stop next week. And after that, we start the duality quarter, the quarter I want to kind of finish with. Duality is our yin-yang thing, and it's a purposeful field through bonding. So when we build our retreat, beautiful retreat house, we can bond within it. We can put our bed, and we can start to procreate. So it's kind of I'm joking, but it's like how it goes. We start, we incarnate, we build, we bond, we die. This is the program. This is the only thing it wants from us. The moment your child is 7 years old, you fulfilled genetic purpose, the program is not interested in you anymore. So it's kind of, it's a very particular thing that the wheel in terms of mind and in terms of program wants from us. And it plays all this seven-centered Godhead themes that install in us its morality, its values, which may not be like who we are. So this quarter is very, very interesting. As I've said, it's about bonding, it's about relationship, and it starts with the 7th gate. Yeah, Alison, you want to add something?
Oh yes, sorry. Is 47 is in this bit, is it? In duality. Yeah, I can't quite see the numbers from here. I need my glasses on. But yeah, so I'm born in this duality part. I think harmonia. Yeah, there I can see it now. Yeah, in Virgo. That's all I wanted to say.
Exactly. It's this quarter is pretty much about oppression and like the mulling of the past. This is what we do. We have relationship, and then when it's broken, all our life we kind of mull and we kind of think about it, and we have, oh, I should have done that, or I should have been this, and so on and so forth. This is the pressure of the 47 and kind of a not self program. So there are definitions and they're interesting. I want to start with the 7 because it's very particular pin that kind of give you a hint, a formula as all other gates. First 13, second, and now it's 7, gate of Sphinx. It kind of give you the meaning of how you need to enter this quarter and bonding and relationship. And in the I Ching, it's called well, it's the role of self in the interaction. The 7 gates, it's the role of self. It's here in the body graph, in the G center, sticks out and looks into the 31st. So it's about this leader, and in the I Ching, it's called the army. It's a yin yang, and we activate when we go into this quarter. We activate also a generator, and yeah, I will put it here. So we activate 59-6. This is the most important. That's why it's also the bonding thing, because we have 59 here in the end of thought, and in the end of harmonia we have 6. So it forms a definition, which is an emotional generator, which is here to create children, and whether metaphorically or like physically, it's intimacy, it's friction, it's creating, it's fertility, it's full-blown fertility. And yeah, it's genetic imperative like that says and pressure you to create more and more and be fertile. And the 7 gate, the role gate, says you have to connect with the leader within yourself. You have to know your own direction. You have to be leader to yourself. This is from where it starts. If you're not the leader to yourself, you're gonna lose all those parts. So the 7th, it kind of says, okay, align, and can you lead yourself? Okay, if yes, then probably you can lead yourself also within the relationships. So this is not the only definition, it's very fertile, but this is the most important because it brings the definition of pure emotional generator. And the other one, as you said, Alison, it's 47-64. They go one after the other here in the harmonia Godhead, and they form a definition of ajna to the head, and it's an abstract circuitry, and it's about the past. So after we've made all those children, we're thinking, what have we done? Let's go back. I'm joking. Anyway, it's about like, yeah, in the not self, it's this pressure. And what is this 64 about? It's like, I forgot the keyword. Yeah, doubt.
Illumination.
Illumination. And in the shadow is a doubt. I always mix it with the 63.
Yeah, it's either doubt or confusion.
Yeah, it's confusion. So it's like
wrong. Is it doubt or is it confusion?
Exactly. So when you have those two, you always mix them up. So yeah, I guess it's a confusion. It's being confused about the past, and doubt is more logical. So yeah. And the other thing, we have one more definition, which is, of course, this is where we go. I could hear myself, Alison. Would you like to comment on that more?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't muted actually. So you could probably hear my dog snoring. But yeah, so this part has 3 channels, so it's quite a bit more than the others. Feels like there's a lot of channels with this particular section here.
Yeah. So it's about mind, this mind, abstract mind, which tries to analyze feelings. And the formula here, let your body process. Don't think about your life. You can use it as inspire others by sharing your experience, maybe, but also like making sense for the other, not for yourself. This one can't make sense out of one's life. It needs to let the body process it. It's the body authority waiting for clarity and then produce and create children or projects, like baby projects or baby children. And the most important kind of thing of this quarter is this definition 4629. It's about you have to stay within the experience, completely merging with it. If you responded yes, 29, to the experience, you have to leave it through within your body, 46. As you remember, 46. So it's very nice that definitions here, 46 in this quarter, 25, this is part 10. 15 is not part of the definition, but it's kind of also meaningful in grounding. 15 is the most grounding kind of force, potentially. But here, 46 and others, equinox and solstices, they form a definition. So it kind of highlights that you have to surrender to the direction of your body, to the love of the body, being love of the experience. 46 is this grail. It's our form, where the blood, the aura, and love of the self being nourished. It's a 46. And it's also what you need to realize that it's a split definition. So in this quarter, we have this two channels kind of together, and the head is separate, kind of cut off. So there is this in bonding in every relationship, we have this cut off head and we have this experience down here. So we have to be down here and then use our head, not the other way around. Otherwise, it's messed up story full of pain created by your own head. And what's more interesting is that we have all these planning gates. So 46 is kind of the king of the body, the king of body consciousness, the love of the body. And this quarter is full of splenic gates, and splenic gates is gates of consciousness and awareness of the body, but also it's a fear gates. So all the fears from the whole wheel are concentrated in this quarter. We have 44, fear of the past. We have 32, fear of the death. We have 57, fear of the future. We have 48, fear of being inadequate. We have what else? 28, fear of not finding our purpose. We have 18, fear. I forgot this particular fear, but it's like, not fitting into the correct pattern. And so all the fears of the spleen are in this quarter. And they kind of, in the not-self world, they govern, because fears of the body, which could be pure existential fears, not staying there usually, they go into the head and becomes an anxiety. And this anxiety is empowered by this abstract rethinking your own anxieties. And this is kind of, a Libra horror movie, Scorpio horror movie, bonding and relationship, which could be so beautiful if we leave ourselves and we not listen to the head authority, and our mind is not our authority, the program is not our authority, but we surrender to the existential, to the form. If we live this time of our life correctly, we build our form strong on being receptive, strength through receptivity. Then if we connect with the leader within, with ourselves, then we can live this, and we can experience fear of the spleen as awareness, because this is our existential, this is our ancient awareness that kind of gives us signals through the lymphatic system, through the audio channels, through the nose, our smelling, our tasting. So we are very alert, we are very embodied, and we love and we enjoy the experience through the 46. And then the bonding is pure bliss. but it's not if we are in the mind and the program govern us, and we create children we don't need and for whom we can't care afterwards. We cannot be within the experience. We're always in our thoughts thinking of this and that, or being tortured but what we've done here because we were not here while it was happening. And then it's all the fears that became the anxiety. And but let's not let's not think about bad things, and realize that any bonding takes time. Emotional definition here, and the key here is that every bonding takes time. You have to wait for clarity in interaction in regarding this kind of theme. I guess this is I will go further next. I will go more into from this bonding, because this is where things gonna change and it's important for us. I will go into 2027 keys now, and I'm kind of pausing and finish here. Would you like to add, Alison, something to wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, what really comes through this is the importance of the body and our relationship to the body. And I think for me, that's also about our relationship to the earth and our food, because we can be very cut off from our food. Earlier, I talked about shopping in the market, and part of that for me is I can kind of touch my food. It's not covered in loads of packaging, so you can actually energetically kind of feel the food, and you know, if you like that, then you get that. Whereas that's so much more, yeah. Once you're in the more industrialized the system is, the more I feel like we are kind of forced to relate to it through our mind. It's very hard to relate through the body. And I know both of us have done a lot of somatic work. Over the years, I've done authentic movement, and Feldenkrais has been a really major thing for me because, you know, in my 30s, I could hardly walk. My hips were that painful. And, you know, so working through like embodied trauma gradually, and and just staying in the body. You know, I go for a walk and suddenly you think, I'm not here in my body, I'm thinking about all these things, and just stop and listen. And it's like this magical realm opens up when you just like connect to your feet and you stop. And it does feel like, you know, such an important thing to be doing. So I don't know if you want to say anything about your somatic practice and how it's helped you as well. And and I think like I both of us are, because we're astrologers, we're taking in and synthesizing a lot of information. And my whole kind of astrology career, I've really wanted to bring that into the body. um, and 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 so actually gene keys and human design bring it into the body, because then it's about, you know, the actual body and where these energies are, rather than them being like something that's happening out in space, which it is, but we're like so linked into that. And also sound healing, I think, is an interesting one. Like using the voice and singing, I think can bring a lot of embodiment. So it's interesting, all those civilization keys are throat keys, because if there's things I've been drawn to the last 3 years as I feel myself changing, it is the somatic practice, especially in nature, and singing. So those are two things that, you know, really been the big changing things for me. So it's not rocket science in a way. It's actually quite it's more simple than you think. In fact, you only need to understand. If you don't understand all the ins and outs, if you just get that one point that the body is really important, and when we're surrendered in the body, everything else starts to open up in a sequential way that's really a good, beautiful way. Start to experience life as beautiful and ecstatic and blissful, even as the chaos kind of goes on around you. So yeah, I'll just it'd be nice to hear about your somatic practice, Katreni.
Wow, Alison, that was important to hear. And yes, the simplicity of being in the body. I have most of my insights during the dance, and especially contact improvisation, because it's a lot of acrobatics and a lot of unexpected, and it's about dancing with someone, and it's without music, and it's without particular rules, not like in tango. So it's like you follow the bodies, and it's kind of a microcosm of relationship and the life happening during the contact improvisation jams. And it kind of showed me a lot where my mind is really handicapped and like cannot do anything. And one of my biggest shock was in the beginning of my dancing experience, when I was just starting dancing contact improv, and I was with a partner, and my body was fluid and relaxed. I was already in some kind of dance within the jam, and I find myself rolling around partner's shoulders. So I'm kind of with my body on his shoulders, and I'm just whirling around his neck, though I don't have dance experience. And my body was so quick, and my mind was wondering what the heck is going on. Like my mind could not control, couldn't handle, could not even think as fast as my body. And that was first revelation when I realized mind is not able to control the body. Body is faster, body is smarter, body is more aware of what's going on, body is movement. That for me was big, because I was an artist before, and I've just started dance, and I was more into intellectual. I was creative with my body, but I was using my body as a tool. And to create something, my mind wanted to create concept, installations, art, whatever, even photography. It's like a visual kind of more connection with the mental field. And here I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. And that was like an epiphany. It was like it opened something, like a gap. And since then I started to dive into somatics. And without somatics, this makes no sense, because this is for me about integration of the knowledge. Like I can think, I can make connections in my nervous system, but then it's a nervous system which is a biological protein medusa within my body, with melanin and like enveloping my nerves, and like it's a fat. My nervous system is like fat, and it's within the body, and it's about integrating things, not just speaking of it. And integration takes movement, and it takes surrender and yielding and many other things of exploring differently. Yeah, and just yesterday I've listened to some recording of Richard, and he was mentioning what does it like, it makes no sense to just be in high frequencies. It's about pulling high frequencies into the physical. And he said that, and it was like a synchronicity, right, the right moment. I needed to hear that. It's like, okay, we can do many things here, we can sit in the light, but it's about integrating and implementing and exploring it through the form and the body. And yeah, I mean, body mind for me and attention is one thing, like space and movement and body and attention is one thing. And yeah, without touch, without the other, talking about the bonding and the duality, it's really hard to just explore one's own body. We need contact, we need relation, we need each other. We need each other through this mental field of making sense of things. We need each other through the touch, because we cannot make a session to our body. We need the other to give us plus attention so we can unfold as a body consciousness, as a cellular space. And this is very beautiful, and this kind of, it ends up here. And this one for me, important regarding death. If we are not diving into within our own like sense of leadership and direction, which leads us into the body, into love of the body. It's not about the other in the sense of procreation, building a family and being with someone because we have fear. It's about eliminating fear. It's about diving within the body and having relationship and intimacy with ourselves, 59. And then the other is our companion, is someone who we help and who helps us to integrate even more into the body. And this one, if we did the work here, it prepares us for the death. It prepares us for transformation. It's a solo journey. All of this is a solo journey. No one will sit with your passenger on your back seat. You're alone. Like I'm alone with my I'm the passenger in my vehicle. I'm alone. No one can sit with me here. And kind of, we happily born and we happily die together. We have our unique journey, and this mechanics, not in terms of program, but in terms of body experience, this just says the formulas of what I can actually do, of my potential. Being within the body prepares for transformation and death, and prepares me for incarnation and being the witness, the correct witness, which is not interfering with the form, but through the initiation and shock, getting my experience and getting my new level, and then yielding into realizing what this form needs to build and what the collective form needs to build, instead of my mind needs and wants to build the structures. And then this helps me to go deeper into the body. So this is a holistic formula of oneself, so to say. And that's why I'm not just somatic practitioner or not just consultant or design. This is clarity on all the levels. That's why I love it. I mean, we both love designing. We both love the ego and the progress and the design, in talking about the force base again. But yeah, that's so inspiring. I'm a very visual person, and I'm also very mental, and that's not a curse, that's bliss, because I can integrate even more somatically within that and share it with others. That was my part of it. What would you say? Will we go further or we will make a full stop here?
No,
Alison?
I think we'll come to a full stop, and we have noticed some other really amazing things going on with the outer planet transits, especially Pluto and the trans-Neptunian object Eris. So we feel that they've got some key parts to play. So we're going to do another podcast on that, and also Saturn is in Gene Key 19 at the moment, so that's very relevant as well. Yeah, I would like to go into the cross of the sleeping Phoenix more as well. It feels like we've got a really good understanding of the three we've done. Well, I have much more than I had before of what's happening kind of now. And yeah, so I just want to thank you, Katreni, for this wonderful sharing of minds and somatic experience. And until we meet again, and thank you everyone who's watched this, and please share it with your friends, and let's all work together to make this transition as easy and supported as we can. So namaste, go in peace.